Well. The Trigger, Rich Bontrager, back for another 2 p.m. live with the Trigger. Technical difficulty today with our software. I apologize, everybody. I'm a minute late. So great to be here with you today. It's always great to kick off another week, and let's hope that the cyber warriors behind the scenes will help keep us going here for the next several minutes. I'm excited to kick off the week with an interview guest here today. Gary Gradley is going to be coming on in just a few minutes. But you got to know a little bit about Gary before we bring him live on stage here, of course. And Gary is a corporate trainer, business coach, trusted advisor for 23 years. He's worked with over 20,000 leaders, employees, individuals, and he's gone in Canada, United States, and Australia. He's become a trusted advisor for many corporations. And during the 2009 recession, he shifted his mission and he founded the On Purpose People Perform. His whole thing, by the way, is a global movement of purpose-driven leaders equipping 100,000 inspired people to have a meaningful and impactful life career by acting upon their purpose and addressing the world's problems. We're going to bring Gary in right away because, hey, this is pretty cool. He's not wasting a minute of his life. He's living on purpose. Great to see you, Gary.
Rich, great to be here. Thank you so much. I'm excited because you are a professional who is on purpose. So right on.
Well, and it's purpose, clarity, but there's also uncertainty in our world right now. And I love how you and I talked about that recently, is the world is uncertain. A part of your mission is to bring that clarity to get back on purpose. And with being on purpose, the uncertainty begins to dissolve away, doesn't it?
100%. And it's amazing. And some of your listeners have already experienced this in their own life at some point in time. And I don't know, can I ask them to close their eyes for like a moment?
Yeah, go for it.
So go ahead. So just close your eyes and just think back to a time or the last time that you were excited, you were focused, you felt like you were on purpose. Maybe it was a project, maybe you're helping somebody and so on. And just relive that experience for just a moment and how you were feeling. What was your emotion and your state of being? And I'm guessing pretty high energy, pretty on top of the world, and yeah, go ahead and open your eyes. That'd be great. And as you're doing that, and I'm guessing that when you were in that state, like you just kind of reimagined, you probably even really didn't see the distractions and the uncertainty at that point in time because you were so focused, right, on what you were being called to do, and you were inspired to do that.
Well, and I think it's something you can rinse and repeat every day because I don't know about you, Gary, but here in the States, recession, COVID, flu, there was a major meat recall just this weekend, holiday seasons, traveling, all these uncertain things going on. Will you get to your destination or will you not? Will you get your luggage with you? I'm sure if you repeat that practice every day and reset yourself, it helps you get through it, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, the key is it's really about our mental, emotional focus. You know, every moment we choose, either consciously or unconsciously, really either faith on one hand, faith and trust on one hand, or fear and doubt on the other hand. And it's our biocomputer in essence, right? And what we know what we focus on expands. And so can I just briefly share my story of the last recession?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, and so I really got the truth of the power of our mental focus, what we choose to focus on. And yeah, I've been in my own corporate training business, as you indicated, for many years, doing very well until the 2008, 2009 Great Recession global crisis, when corporations often spend $0 on speakers and trainers. And so I'm working extremely hard for an entire year, and I have zero income. I rack up $50,000 in credit card debt. You know, I become financially distressed. And to the point, and I'm focused on all the lack to the point where literally I become hopeless, which is a really, really, really bad place to be. I wouldn't recommend it. And until one morning, February 2009 morning, in my side office, I just wake up and I decide, Gary, I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. I will never choose to feel hopeless ever again. The light bulb went off. I had an epiphany. Well, Gary, it's just a choice. You can choose to feel hopeless or you can choose to feel hope. You decide based on your focus and what evidence that you are collecting. And so that was a major transition point for me. And never, I'm always going to choose hope going forward. So that's a recommendation. Let's choose hope going forward.
Gary Gradley is my special guest today on 2 p.m. with the Trigger. The purpose coach, as he is known, and as you've heard him right now, talking about that purpose, that clarity. By the way, if you got a question, a comment, the chat box is always open. We'd love to hear from you about that. You also have the Kingdom Promise book, How Leading Canadians Choose Faith to Conquer the Storms of Life. Now, you're Canadian. We have a border, but we're friends. So how are you leading that choice specifically in Canada? Because you do have a different political system, and it does impact you differently than it does us.
Yeah, and we probably all have some concerns about our leaders, especially in this age. So, yeah, it's really, I focus on what I can control. And what I discovered when I made this choice about the book, what I discovered was that then I felt called to interview all these people right after I had this epiphany, right? So I interviewed all these business leaders, church leaders, community leaders. And what I saw, and this is the essence of the book, is that what I saw was in their lives, and that they were believers in God, and their God's faithfulness was what got them through major life crises like depression and recession and loss of a loved one and bankruptcy and health challenges. And so when I saw that and I gathered that evidence, right, that God was faithful, it literally raised I'm specifically gathering evidence, positive evidence, right, mental choice, positive evidence. And as I gather that, my faith goes from 2 out of 10 to like an 8 out of 10 because I had that faith building and that evidence. Yeah.
Well, and I want to jump on that because faith in God, faith brings certainty because God is God. He's consistent. His promises are promises. He has guarantees, right? And his clarity of his purpose and love and whatnot. So when you really think in the mold of a faith and a caring God, a God that's stable and unmoving through the storms, it should bring a sense of peace to us and know, okay, everything else is nuts, but God's not.
Yeah, we believe that God is sovereign. God is still in control. And as believers in God, and maybe through Jesus Christ, that in essence, that's where our trust lies. And that just, when we have higher trust, we have higher certainty, right? And so we can take action going forward. And again, get on your calling, get clear on your purpose, act upon it. And 2023 will end up being a much better year for you than otherwise.
Well, and I love this whole area that you talk about following your heart because it leads to success. So explain that a little bit, because some people follow their heart and the heart can get broken, but I think you're talking about something else.
Yeah, when I talk about following your heart, it's really, to me, it's like, what is that calling? What's that purpose? Really, that burden on your heart. And I believe that that our heart really is, our heart is our soul, our soul is our mind, emotions, and our will. And I literally believe that the divine places his purposes in our heart, in our soul. And when we can begin to uncover that, just like buried treasure, that then when we follow that, and really we're following our intuition, which is, we feel intuition is God speaking to us, then we're going to be on track. Then we're going to make the best decisions possible. And that's probably been, your experience, certainly as a listener, that when you follow your heart, it may not have been perfect, but it was probably the best choice you could have made, and you'll get a ton of learning, if not a ton of success.
Well, through my own personal journey, my own faith, my own heart, my own passion, they're all interconnected. And I found when I followed those passions and that heart after prayer and guidance and, some good sounding advice, I really believe it is the best way to go. I would rather do something from my heart and my passions than do it out of, I have to, you ought to. I love to live in the presence of, I get to. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. And I like the terminology inspired action, right? So you're going to take action anyways, but when it's inspired, it's spirit filled, right? And it's more divinely led. And I think it's going to be more, divine synchronicity and more provision, more favor.
Now, I know, Gary, you've lived in the business world as well. So I want to make this very clear that you also talk about reinventing their lives and their business. Now, we've all talked about pivoting. reinventing during COVID shutdown. We're still living in a reinvented world right now, I think. And it's scary. I think it's also exciting. So what is this reinventing your life and business from Gary's perspective?
Yeah. So it reminds me of the ancient um, proverb, in essence: a crisis equals opportunity. Danger plus opportunity. And so I think the opportunity within this time, this crisis time, is for us to catch a new vision, for us to tap into our soul and to catch that vision that God is calling us to, our heart's vision, that our calling, that our purpose on the planet. And when we do that, and we can really catch a new vision for ourselves. And the vision's powerful. It's like when we get a vision for ourselves we believe is divinely true, it's going to give us the power and the motivation and draw us in that direction. I want to use my magnifying glass analogy, if I can. And so this is the power of this, the power of focus and clarity on a vision, on a purpose, just like with our magnifying glass, right? And we're going to marshal the sun's rays through here, and they're going to be concentrated here, right? Just like a laser beam. And we know that there's power in a laser beam that can burn through obstacles. The same thing is for you. When you get clarity on your purpose, there's power there. It's like a laser beam. And that's how we can then also reinvent ourselves, and how we can have more success in our business. And so, especially as things become more uncertain, I believe it's critical that each of us raise our own certainty. And there's a number of ways we can do that, such as what we're talking about.
So as we end down 2022, I know you have a big event coming up early in January 10th through the 12th, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You're going to create more clarity and certainty in an uncertain world. You're actually going to help people unpack this further, aren't you? And I'm going to drop in the chat now the link for the event, but explain a little bit about what you're going to do with those 2 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Over these 3 1-hour evening sessions, we're really going to unpack and help people kickstart 2023, certainly with more clarity and confidence. Specifically, we're going to be covering the 7 proven mindset principles. These are the mindset principles that I learned going through the last recession. Remember, I had $50,000 in credit card debt. And by the way, very soon thereafter, I paid off the $50,000 in credit card debt in 2 years because of these principles, because of the faith also that I explained. And so, yeah, please come and join us. You'll be glad that you did. And this is way beyond a New Year's resolution. This is really how to kickstart, the new year with clarity, confidence, and commitment to success based on these proven principles for you for 2023.
Final question for you here, Gary, is now I know my version of this answer. When you aim for nothing, or when you aim for everything, you hit nothing. But I want to know, what are the benefits of being a purpose-driven leader, parent, member of society? What are the benefits of this? Do you actually hit the target?
Yeah, it's massive, and not only from many of you can experience this, right? When you've been focused on a very compelling purpose, you were passionate, you were high performing. Chances are very likely that you achieved those goals. And there's something called scienceofpurpose.org. Which tracked all this from all the dominant counseling firms, when there's overwhelming evidence of the power of a purpose-driven individual and a purpose-driven organization. I don't have time to go into those, but we can always add that in the chat later. Scienceofpurpose.org. It's overwhelming, the powerful positive evidence of being on purpose.
And again, being purpose-driven covers so much of life, so much of business. It's not a one slice in one done area. Once you really understand the power of living a life on purpose, it bleeds over into everything. Gary, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah,
I've already
absolutely.
dropped the website. What's the best email?
Yeah, email is Gary Gradley 21 at gmail.com. Gary Gradley 21 at gmail.com.
Gary Gradley, he is the purpose coach. Reach out to him, find him on LinkedIn, find him on Facebook. There's other ways. Use the links that are in the chat here as well. We want to make sure that you follow up with him. And Gary, thank you for being with us today. 2 p.m. with the Trigger. You never know who's going to show up. You never know what we're going to talk about, but it's always good information to help you with your business, your career. And again, my goal, my passion, to help you shine on camera and stage. My goal is to help you shine on camera and stage so that you are the go-to brand authority in your industry. You want to succeed. You want to have a great career. You want to stand up in the crowd. I'm here to actually help you do that. You want to contact me, contact Rich at richbontrager.net. I coach, and one of the areas of focus of 2023 is going to be on interview skills, like these interviews right here. How do you show up and be a great guest to show your brand authority, to show how positive you are as a leader, and what sort of message you have so you do become that go-to leader like Gary is himself? Or go to rockstagemedia.com. Learn more about what we're offering with Rock the Stage and how you can get involved in 2023. That's going to do it for today, 2 p.m. with The Trigger. Thanks for being with us today, and we will see you